Researchers have found a way to convert the aromatic substance vanillin into a redox-active electrolyte material for liquid batteries. The technology is an important step towards ecologically sustainable energy storage. European wildcats, thought to be extinct 50 or so years ago in the Jura Mountains, have since recolonized part of their former territory. This resurgence in an area occupied by domestic cats has gone hand in hand with genetic crosses between the two species. A team of biologists modeled the interactions between the two species to predict that hybridization will entail the irreversible genetic replacement of wildcats. Using an X-ray laser, a research team has investigated how water heats up under extreme conditions. In the process, the scientists were able to observe water that remained liquid even at temperatures of more than 170 degrees Celsius. The investigation revealed an anomalous dynamic behavior of water, which is of fundamental importance for the analysis of sensitive samples using X-ray lasers. University of Adelaide researchers have uncovered fundamental new information about the malting characteristics of barley grains. They say their finding could pave the way to more stable brewing processes or new malts for craft brewers. Published in the Nature publication Scientific Reports, the researchers discovered a new link between one of the key enzymes involved in malt production for brewing and a specific tissue layer within the barley grain. The power of the sun, wind and sea may soon combine to produce clean burning hydrogen fuel. According to researchers, a team integrated water purification technology into a new proof of concept design for a seawater electrolyzer, which uses an electric current to split apart the hydrogen and oxygen in water molecules.
New research identifies a process that might have been key in producing the first organic molecules on Earth about 4 billion years ago, before the origin of life. The process, which is similar to what might have occurred in some ancient underwater hydrothermal vents, may also have relevance to the search for life elsewhere in the universe.
Injury or disease that affects a relatively small number of brain cells causes a chain reaction that stops activity across a vast network of neural circuits, according to new research. The study may help to explain why people can suffer from temporary but severe loss of cognitive function in cases of traumatic brain injury or disease. Researchers have discovered a brain molecule that functions as a thermometer for the presence of others in an animal's environment. Zebrafish feel the presence of others via mechanosensation and water movements, which turns the brain hormone on.
Researchers have found a novel form of the Alzheimer's protein tau in the fluid surrounding the brain and spinal cord. This form of tau, known as MABA tau, indicates what stage of Alzheimer's a person is in and tracks with tangles of tau protein in the brain.
The evidence for the harmful effects of alcohol on brain health is compelling, but now experts have pinpointed 3 key time periods in life when the effects of alcohol are likely to be at their greatest.
A stretchable system that can harvest energy from human breathing and motion for use in wearable health monitoring devices may be possible, according to an international team of researchers.
Researchers used the Frontier supercomputer to model for the first time a black hole merger of 2 black holes with very different sizes 128-1. The research required 7 months of constant computation. The results predict the gravitational waves such a merger would produce, as well as characteristics of the resulting merged black hole.
A team has developed Smellicopter, an autonomous drone that uses a live antenna from a morph to navigate toward smells. Smellicopter can also sense and avoid obstacles as it travels through the air.
Almost 200 years after French physicist Jean Peltier discovered that electric current flowing through the junction of two different metals could be used to produce a heating or cooling effect, researchers say it is time to step up efforts to find new materials for the thermoelectric cooling market.
Was burial of the dead practiced by Neanderthals, or is it an innovation specific to our species? Researchers have demonstrated, using a variety of criteria, that a Neanderthal child was buried probably around 41,000 years ago at the Pharisee site Dordogne.
with the help of newly discovered skulls and skeletons that were unearthed in North America, Brazil, Argentina, and Madagascar in recent years. Researchers have demonstrated that a group of dinosaur precursors, called lagopetids, are the closest relatives of pterosaurs.
A new study in mice finds that a high-fat diet allows cancer cells to compute immune cells for fuel, impairing immune function and accelerating tumor growth. Cancer cells do so by rewiring their metabolisms to increase fat consumption. Blocking this rewiring enhances anti-tumor immunity. The findings suggest new strategies to target cancer metabolism and improve immunotherapies.
New research provides a solution for the century-and-a-half-old puzzle of why capillary condensation, a fundamentally microscopic phenomenon involving a few molecular layers of water, can be described reasonably well using macroscopic equations and macroscopic characteristics of bulk water. Is it a coincidence or a hidden law of nature?
Compared to chimpanzees, our closest evolutionary cousins, humans are particularly prone to developing advanced carcinomas, the type of tumors that include prostate, breast, lung, and colorectal cancers, even in the absence of known risk factors such as genetic predisposition or tobacco use. A recent study helps explain why.
Two new studies shed new light on how the brain encodes time and place into memories. The findings not only add to the body of fundamental research on memory, but could eventually provide the basis for new treatments to combat memory loss from conditions such as traumatic brain injury or Alzheimer's disease.
Researchers have rebuilt a human thymus, an essential organ in the immune system, using human stem cells and a bioengineered scaffold. Their work is an important step towards being able to build artificial thymi which could be used as transplants.
scientists have improved a promising battery technology, creating a single crystal, nickel-rich cathode that is hardier and more efficient than before. It's one step toward improved lithium-ion batteries that are common in electric vehicles today. Increasing nickel content in the cathode is on the drawing board of lithium-ion battery makers largely because of its relatively low cost, wide availability, and low toxicity compared to other key battery materials, such as cobalt.
Political scholars had historically recognized the social love of the mass media. The impact of the mass media on the election and governing process has greatly increased over the last 50 years. Tomorrow, the mass media will become the central nervous system for your society and the major source of public information.
Summer research scholarships offer a unique opportunity for external organizations, academics, and students to work together in research, working with globally recognized researchers in a local setting. Students gain valuable real-world experience as well as an insight into what research is all about.
Changes in climate affect, for example, the plant and animal life of a given area. The presence of cold beds in North America and Europe, along with evidence of glaciation in these same areas, indicates that they must have experienced alternately warmer and colder climates than they now possess.
To prevent mosquito-transmitted diseases, approaches based on genetic control of insect populations are being developed. However, many of these strategies are based on highly invasive, self-propagating transgenes that can rapidly spread the trait into other populations of mosquitoes.
Investigations like this one have been plodding along for 40 years, and some studies, like one following the deadly Kobe quake in 1995, have found similar correlations. But study author Aloud Skelton, a professor of geochemistry at Stockholm University, says the unpredictable study subject makes it tough to get funding because you can in no way guarantee a result. So I get 3 years of money, but if there's no earthquake, there's no result.
James Webb Space Telescope was specifically designed to observe this light, which comes from some of the oldest galaxies, to take form. How did early stars and galaxies take shape? What about the cosmic material that is undetectable, known as dark matter? Is there evidence for it in the early ends of the universe? These are some of the perplexing and fascinating questions that astronomers can begin unraveling with Webb. Deep brain stimulation depends to the superator branch of the medial forebrain bundle fab, which is linked to reward and motivation, revealed metabolic brain changes over 12 months post-DBENS implantation, making it a strong potential therapy for treatment-resistant depression.
Research has shown that the gut microbiome is important for human physiology and health. Disturbances to the composition of the gut microbiome can be associated with chronic diseases such as gastrointestinal inflammatory disorders, neurological, cardiovascular, and respiratory illnesses. The human body has evolved strategies to ensure that a symbiotic relationship exists between the microbes in our gut and our cells.
Research has found we pursue more rewards when we become habituated to a higher standard of living and compare ourselves to various standards. What it takes to be happy depends on our prior expectations, but these expectations can change over time. The dyes and pigments available in any particular period in which a specific color photographic process was invented, manufactured, and used have profound effects on the quality of color that defines most of the style and particular historical period.
Cool room temperature inhibited cancer growth in mice. Mice acclimatized to temperatures of 40 had significantly slower tumor growth and lived nearly twice as long compared with mice in rooms of 30 because they were burning more brown fat.
One of the major factors influencing future home design will be the probable change in climate, with hotter summers, colder winters, and the possibility of floods. Consequently, houses will be built with better insulation and will also need ways of keeping cool and hot weather, whether that's air conditioning or more shading of windows.
The executive residence in the White House in the United States of America, where the president resides, is divided into several wings. It also includes the vice president's and president's staff offices. This government building is a national heritage.
Whether salamander, frog or toad, amphibians are some of the most diverse and far-flung animals on the planet. However, they're disappearing, and experts are worried since frogs are considered bellwethers for the environment. Their double life makes them unique. It's through their skin that they breathe and drink water because their skin is so permeable.
Japan is the world's calculator superpower. Japanese manufacturers have led sales of calculators for over 30 years in many countries. Even in the age of personal computers, calculators are still essential in accounting jobs. In addition, calculators with graphing capabilities have begun to be used in education.
Cloud seeding, a form of weather modification, is a way of attempting to change the amount of precipitation that comes from clouds. Cloud seeding is carried out by dispersing substances into the air, but it also is due to ice nuclei in nature, most of which are bacterial in origin.
What produced these effects are familiar to neuroscientists: external light and dark signals that help set our daily or circadian rhythms, clock genes that act as internal timekeepers, and neurons that signal to one another through connections called synapses. But how these factors interact to freshen a brain once we do sleep has remained enigmatic.